let's continue off here. There's a good chance I have 47 minutes. I should be done in 47 minutes. I have 47 minutes left on my phone, so I should be done with the time entries here on my phone here. So, the wicked being cast off and separated from God. In the Bible, it talks about the wicked being separated from God or cast into hell. Well, it's a symbolism of you world. Because you sinned against God, because you guys betrayed me and my wife, and you betrayed God, right? Hence, killing Ivan and causing mess, purposely causing mess. Because the mess that happened with my wife is not an accident. You guys purposely caused it. Okay, how can we cause mess in Ivan's life? Have dupe VJ into selling. That way she can lose her power, obviously, because she no longer has power because she sold out. In other words, Victoria Justice, even though she has the keys, her keys are worthless because now she's sold out. So let's dupe VJ into selling and have her lose power. Have her not see Ivan, because we can't see Ivan, she can't see Ivan either. You guys are fucking crazy. At the same time, what? Purposely cause a mess by having VJ be a porn star, and hence the dogs in Hollywood, if VJ is having sex with them, she's obviously going to mess up, yeah. The horror mask was purposely set up. Just like the horror mask is set up with Ivan, lock all doors in Ivan and force him to pay a bullshit I want you Ivan to have sex fee. That way you can cause mess in Ivan's life. And those slutty women in Hollywood, they're all going to go after Ivan. Right? They're all going to go after Ivan. Yeah, hence the mess. Hence mess in both Ivan and VJ's life. Hey, you guys purposely set everything up for both me and my wife because you guys are wicked people. Yeah, there you go. I'm not interested in having sex with all these dirty women. I'm a fucking virgin. I'm willing to save my virginity for my wife, and yet you're willing to turn me into a porn star and have me have sex with hundreds of women before I can see my wife, because you guys are wicked people. It's not until I come over from death it's finally going to hit your mind how wicked you are, to the point where you guys are going to weep. Remember in Passion of Christ, when after Jesus died, you saw the Pharisees, they were weeping? You guys are going to cry tears to the point where I'm going to shut you up for good. You can't say shit anymore. I'm going to prove how wicked and evil you really are. Yeah, there you go. Right? So the wicked being cast off and separated from God. So in the Bible, it talks about the wicked being separated from God or cast into hell. Well, it's a symbolism of you world. Because you sinned against God and betrayed God, you betrayed me and my wife, hence killing Ivan and causing mess in both him and VJ's life, the judgment of God will be upon the world. Just like in the Bible, those who sin against God are judged and they're cast into hellfire and they're separated from God. Well, symbolism of that is those the wicked, obviously the wicked, which is symbolism of you world. You guys are wicked people. The wicked, because they sinned against God and betrayed God, they're now cast into hell. Hence, the symbol of that is you're never going to see me. Obviously, you're gonna forever see hell. Whereas Victoria Justice will see me. Obviously, at the same time, you guys are separated from me and my wife. You're cast out of our presence, and you're left behind and abandoned by God. Yeah, there's a symbolism. Just like the wicked in the Bible are separated from God and they're cast into hell. And they're separated and abandoned by God. Yeah, there's symbols in the Bible. Right? So when the Bible talks about the wicked being separated from God or cast into hell, well, it's a symbolism of you world. Because you sinned against God and betrayed God, hence killing Ivan and causing mess in both him and VJ's life, the judgment of God will be upon the world, as they will be forever separated from God. Just like in the Bible, you're cast into hell for eternity. Well, the symbol of that is the world will be forever separated from God. Yeah, because me and my wife are not making live videos. Zero. Yeah, there you go. Right? So it's a symbol because of you, world. Because you sinned against God and betrayed God, hence killing Ivan and causing mess in both him and VJ's life. The judgment of God will be upon the world. So you guys will be judged, obviously, by me and VJ, obviously. Right? The judgment of God will be upon the world, as they will be forever separated from God. You guys will not partake in our glory, obviously. You'll be cast off and separated from God. Hence, you guys will cry tears, obviously. Hence, being cast off or abandoned by God, left behind, abandoned by God, so much so you guys will cry tears, just as those who are cast into hell in the Bible will weep and beg for forgiveness. That's the symbolism. So the symbolism of those being cast into hell in the Bible, weeping, please Lord forgive me, like those in the Bible weeping when they're cast into hell, with Satan and his demons on stuff. The symbolism of that is once I peace out and you guys witness me and wife's glory, like an international fame, you guys are gonna cry tears and you're gonna wish you can take it all back. In other words, that glory that you saw when me and wife were born, you're gonna wish you can take it all back. Oh man, I wish I could take it all back and see Ivan VJ's glory. I wish I could take it all back and just see this glory because now we're left behind and we're abandoned by God. And it's a horrific feeling to feel abandoned by God, man. It's such a horrific feeling that those actors and crewmen, those actors who are in Hollywood, they know they're going to, after filming Zanes, they know they're going to have successful careers. And even then, they're still going to beg because they don't want to have that horrific feeling. They know that once they go to Hollywood, it's because those actors got to experience that amazing feeling, they don't want to lose that feeling. Like that amazing feeling that's now lost. Those actors don't want to lose it. Hence why they're gonna beg. Even though they know they're gonna have successful careers in Hollywood, even then they're still gonna beg because of what? Because they know, even though I'm in Hollywood, my career feels a bit worthless because I haven't featured the main show and some side attentions. I don't know, 40, 50, 60 million people are drawn to my movie. Whereas a billion people are drawn to either VJ's movie. Yeah, you feel what? Left behind, abandoned. It's a shitty feeling. In other words, even though those actors are going to be successful in Hollywood, they're going to be paid more money, their fame is going to feel a bit worthless because of the side attention. They're not the main attention. If I want to be famous, I want to experience the fame with IMVJ. I don't want fame without God feels meaningless. Yeah, there you go. Fame without God feels meaningless. Right? Fame without God feels meaningless. Yeah, that's how special we are. Fame without God feels worthless and meaningless. Yeah, even though those actors are going to be successful in Hollywood, their fame will feel. Even though their fame is not meaningless and worthless, their fame is going to feel meaningless and worthless because they're not the main show. IMVJ are the main show. So think about this: those actors know they're going to be successful in Hollywood, and even then, they're still going to beg me want to be signed because they don't want to be left behind and abandoned. Yeah. That's the horrific feeling that you're going to have world forever. As me and my wife are piecing out, as we're not making any live videos on our Sabotage channel, because you're choosing not to talk about us forever, because you're saying zero Ivan and zero VJ forever in the public eye, well then zero Ivan and zero VJ forever on a Sabotage YouTube channel. Hey, get what you fucking deserve. Yeah. There is a symbolism of the wicked being cast off and separated from God. Let me give you a Bible verse. 2 Thessalonians 1:9. They will suffer the punishment of eternal destruction away from the presence of the Lord and from the glory of his might. So in the Bible, in this passage, it talks about they will suffer the punishment of eternal destruction. So in this passage in the Bible, it talks about how the wicked are going to suffer eternal destruction, which is being thrown into hell and being separated from God. And they're going to be what? Away from the presence of the Lord and the glory of his might. They're going to be. In other words, the wicked don't go to heaven, they go to hell, whereas the righteous go to heaven and they get to experience what? They get to witness God's glory. Well, the symbolism of that is you guys will be punished. The punishment you guys are going to suffer is you're going to be what? You're going to see hell forever, obviously. You're never going to see me. At the same time, you're going to be forever separated from God, right? You're going to be forever separated from my presence, from me and wife's presence. You're going to be forever separated from me and wife's glory. Yeah, that's symbolism. And those actors and crewmen, they get to be in our presence again. They get to witness the glory and the glory of God. Just like the righteous in the Bible, the symbolism of the righteous are the lucky chosen ones from God. Even though those actors are not innocent, the symbolism of the righteous is obviously the lucky chosen actors and crewmen who are saved by God, obviously. Whereas the wicked is the symbolism of those who are not saved by God. Those are the symbols of those who are cast away into eternal destruction, into hell, and they're cast away from God's presence, God's holy presence. There's a symbolism. Yeah, there you go. Right? So this verse refers to the wicked who can be cast into hell forever, away from the presence of God and his glory. Well, the symbolism of this is when Ivan and Vijay are king, queen, the entire world is cast off and separated from God's glory. Hence, your world will be left behind and abandoned by God. So this verse refers to the wicked who will be cast into hell forever, just like you guys will be forever separated from your wife. If we're not making live videos on our Sabotage channel, zero. The only connection you're going to get to me and my wife is the trans online. People will film videos of me and my wife behind the scenes, obviously. The actors will probably film videos of me and my wife behind the scenes. The only connection you're going to get to me and my wife is the ads, the videos and pictures of the ads on the website, on trending on social media, the doc videos, and the movie. That's the only connection you're going to get to me and my wife. Whereas me and my wife are not making any live videos for you. Zero. You guys should fucking deserve, man. Right? So this verse refers to the wicked who will be cast into hell forever, away from the presence of God and his glory. Well, the symbolism of this is when I am the major king and queen, the entire world is cast off, abandoned by God, aside from God's glory, whereas the righteous, who are the lucky chosen few, like the actors and crewmen, they will be saved and they'll get to experience the amazing glory of God. That's why they're going to beg me to resign them. Because being famous without God, without Ivan VJ feels worthless and meaningless. I'm not saying the actor's fame is worthless and meaningless. No, I'm saying, but it feels worthless and meaningless. That like I said earlier, right? That's why those actors are going to beg, yeah. Hence, you will be left behind and abandoned by God. And that's why you guys are going to cry tears. When I mean cry tears, I mean you guys are going to cry tears because when you see all the trends, like I don't know, like 50,000 fans cheering me wife on, 100,000 fans cheering me wife on, you look at something crazy. 200,000 fans cheering me wife on, you look at something crazy. Like you're going to feel abandoned, left behind by God to the point where you guys are going to cry. And that horrific feeling that those actors don't want to have. That's the reason why they're going to beg me to resign them. They know they're going to have successful careers in Hollywood, and even then, they still beg. Why? Because they don't want to be left behind. Because me and my wife are that special. Right? The resurrection of Christ. So the symbolism of Jesus rising from the dead 3 days later. Have any of you guys seen The Passion of Christ? Remember that scene when Jesus rose from the dead? He looks up. He gets up. He's like, the debt's not paid. We're looking at someone like that for Ivan. Once I pay this fee and I suffer death, when I get up in the hospital, I'm gonna get up. I'm like, the debt's not paid. I'm gonna walk. I go home. My family's like, I'm sorry, Ivan, and they're crying out. They're crying tears. And let me release my book, and I finally see my wife. Yeah, I see my final 4-day goodbyes. Everyone's shocked that I'm alive. Oh my God, Ivan's alive. Ivan's defeated death. Yeah, you're looking at something top notch for that. Yeah. So the resurrection of Christ. So the symbolism of Jesus rising from the dead 3 days later with a glorified body. Just like when I come out from death, I get the full grown beard. When I have sex with my wife, we get the glowing beauty. Symbolism of Jesus coming back with a glorified body after he dies, obviously, when he resurrects from the dead, obviously. So the symbolism of Jesus rising from the dead 3 days later with a glorified body and spending his final 40 days on earth before he goes up to glory in heaven with his Father is obviously a symbolism of myself. When Ivan pays his fee, suffers death, sometime later he will rise from the dead, a new man, the glowing beauty, obviously, with my full grown beard. I'll lose the weight too. I'm going to lose the weight, get down at 190. I'm going to get my full grown beard. So Victoria Justice gets the Ivan who has his full grown beard, who has the glowing beauty, who's skinny and jacked. Whereas all those women in Hollywood, they got an Ivan who's fat, and an Ivan who's poor, and an Ivan who doesn't have his full grown beard. Yeah, that's the setup, obviously. All those men in Hollywood got a VJ who's trash, which is fucking gross. They got a VJ who doesn't have a glowing beauty. Yeah, they got a VJ who's what? A trashy porn star in Hollywood. Yeah, that's the setup. Whereas Ivan gets a VJ who's fresh, a VJ who has a glowing beauty, a VJ who's more fit. Victoria Justice is already fit, but when she works out with me, she's only going to get more fit. Yeah, there you go. So symbolism of Jesus rising from the dead 3 days later with a glorified body and spending his final 4 days on earth before he goes up to glory in heaven is obviously a symbolism of myself. When Ivan pays this fee, suffers death, sometime later he will rise from the dead, and a new man, the glowing beauty, obviously, and say his final 4-day goodbyes before he sees his beautiful wife and takes off to the throne with her. Hence the last hope for Zania's book sales. You're looking at like $5 billion in sales, man. Again, you're looking at the best novel for that, right? So the symbolism of Jesus rising from the dead is obviously a symbolism of me coming back from death once I suffer death, obviously. So once I die, sometime later, Ivan Mayer will come back from death. He'll wake up in the hospital, and he'll what? He'll say his final 4-day goodbyes. He defeated all the powers of the world. Obviously, I officially defeated the gatekeepers, and now I'm about to become king. Yeah, and I released my book. I released my book for purchase on Lulu. Yeah, and now Ivan's a billionaire with his wife. He's a glory, obviously, right? Right. So symbolism of Jesus rising from the dead 3 days later with a glorified body and spending his final 40 days on earth before he goes up to glory in heaven is obviously a symbolism of myself. When Ivan pays his fee, suffers death, sometime later he will rise from the death. He will defeat death, obviously. A new man, the glowing beauty, and say his final 40 goodbye. So I'm going to say my final word for. I'm going to go to the Elmer Bar, check out fast food restaurants I have memory of. You know what I'm saying? I'll wait till I get that check. I'll probably see a movie on theaters. Watch some stuff on YouTube. Get a laugh out of my old sabotage videos. Then I'm about to become king. And then once I get that check, I stay at a hotel for 10 days. After those 12 days, I take off to Los Angeles and I see my wife. We fly to Vancouver. We make plans for building a rooftop condo. Start Sky Source, buying the jet, renovating the office, putting out ads for the document 16. Lawyers to trademark our logo name for Sky. You look at Sky Source logo. Yeah, like I'm taking off to tell my wife. Yeah, in other words, Jesus spent his final 4 days before he went up to heaven in glory to be with his Father. Just like Ivan spent his final 4 days, and after the final 4 days, he takes off with his wife. Him and his wife take off to the throne in glory. Yeah, with Xanus Booksellers. The glory of the Xanus Booksellers. Yeah, right. Philippians 3:10. I want to know Christ, yes, to know the power of his resurrection and the participation of his sufferings, becoming like him in his death. So here Paul talks about how what here in Philippians in the Philippians it talks about how I want to know the power of Christ's resurrection and the participation of his sufferings, becoming like him in his death. So just like I suffered in my life, right? Just like in other words, Paul in the Bible. I want to suffer like Christ. At the same time, I want to rise to victory like Christ rose to victory from death. Obviously, in other words, before Jesus rose from death, he experienced suffering, just like Ivan. So Jesus as God in the flesh experienced suffering. Obviously, you know what I'm saying. The people made fun of him. You know, some people fun of him. People spat on Jesus. They crucified Jesus. They beat Jesus. You know what I'm saying. God in the flesh, just like Ivan O'Mara suffered in his life, like the horror mess of my wife, you know what I'm saying, me having an embarrassing life, my family putting me down, me paying his fee, me suffering death for my wife. Ivan truly suffered in his life before he becomes king in a glorified body and glory. Hence the setup, obviously. So in other words, before Jesus rose from death, he experienced suffering, just like Ivan O'Mara suffered in his life. I suffered in my life, obviously. Before I become king in a glorified body, and I experience the glory with my wife, who will also have a glorified body as well, the glowing beauty. Yeah. In other words, hence the setup, obviously. In other words, the Ivan you saw world when you were blind is the Ivan who was fat, suffered in his life, was poor, made videos on Sabotage channel. The Ivan who did not have his full-grown beard, because the Ivan, hence why you guys want me to share, because all you want, when you know full well in the future I'm gonna get that full-grown beard, and you don't want VJ to have full-grown beard, or Ivan to alter herself. Hence why you guys want to trap me with sharing and death, because you know I'm gonna get that full-grown beard. I'm gonna lose the weight in the future, You don't want VJ to have Ivan with the glowing beauty, with his full-grown beard and all jacked and skinny. You want what? You want VJ and I's relations to be a mess. You guys are selfish people. You're wicked people. Yeah, there you go. Hence the setup, obviously. The Ivan that you saw is the Ivan who was fat, suffered in his life, was poor, made videos on his Sabotage channel. The Ivan who did not have his full-grown beard. The Ivan who was not rich. That was the Ivan you saw when you were blind, world. But when your eyes are open, the new Ivan with his full-grown beard you no longer see. The Ivan who's behind, you no longer see live, right? Right? The new Ivan with his full-grown beard you no longer see live. The Ivan who was jacked, the Ivan who's now jacked and skinny for the role of Xanus, obviously, Tactius. A rich billionaire with his wife. The Ivan who has his glowing beauty. That is the Ivan you do not see live, hence you got played. Just like Satan got played by Jesus. Satan thought he had Jesus when Jesus was suffering on the cross. And the moment Jesus rose from the dead, Satan's like, oh my God, I got played. Jesus now has the power. Jesus defeated Satan, and he now holds the power and keys to what? To hell and death. Because Jesus defeated death. Just like when I'm paying his fee, it'll seem like as if Ivan is losing. It'll seem like as if Ivan is defeated. But then once I come back, as when I pay his fee, I'm gonna cry tears, knowing that I have to die. But once I come back from death, the stepfamilies now know I paid my debt. Ivan now has the keys. He holds the power. He defeated the gatekeepers. What? And now I'm skinny. I have my full-grown beard. I have the glowing beauty. You will be like, oh my God! Like when we were blind, we saw the poor Ivan who was fat, who was poor, right? Who did not have a full-grown beard. But now when our eyes are open, the Ivan and Vijay we see are the Ivan who are glorified with the glowing beauty, the rich billionaires. Ivan has full-grown beard. Victoria Justice is fresh. Has to set up. You guys got played, yeah. Your world got played. Yeah. Here is a verse for you. First Colossians 2:8. But the rulers of this world have not understood it. If they had, they would not have crucified our glorious Lord. So when in the Bible, when it talks about the rulers of this world, it's talking about Satan and his demons. In other words, if Satan and his demons understood what Christ meant, what Christ came to earth to do, they never would have killed him. Just in other words, the step families in the entire world, they're blind, in other words, you world and the step families, you guys are obviously blind. As if your eyes were open, you would have chosen eternal glory over bullshit sex any day. But because you guys were blind, as it ordains to happen, you chose bullshit sex, hence the setup, obviously. In other words, because you guys are blind and you don't understand it yet because you're blinded by your envy, you want to see more have sex so bad, right? Right. In other words, because you guys are blind, you guys don't see. But had you guys not, had your eyes been open when I was me and Mark were born, you guys would have chosen our eternal glory any day over a bullshit sex. But because you guys are blind, you guys chose what? Bullshit sex. That's the setup. Just like in the Bible, Satan and his demons, had they known Christ's purpose to die on the cross for the sins of the world, they never would have killed him, right? They never would have killed God, but because they were blind, they didn't understand what was really going on. They got duped and they crucified Christ, knowing full well that was God's plan all along. Hence the setup, obviously, they got duped. Remember that scene in Passion of Christ? After Jesus died, it shows Satan like yelling in hell because Satan got duped. Yeah, Jesus defeats Satan because now he held the power. He now holds the keys and the powers of death because he defeated death. He paid the debt. Now he saved what? He saved his followers. Yeah, there's a symbolism, right? As right now you so badly want to see me have sex, but once I come back from death and your eyes are open, you will wish every day you could take that day back and choose eternal glory over bullshit sex. But as I say, you guys are reprobate and are blinded by your envy. In other words, right now you guys are blind. You guys want to see me have sex so bad. But once I come back from death and your eyes are open and you see the glory of the doc and the movies and the trends, you guys will wish you can take that. You guys wish you can take that day back and choose eternal glory any over bullshit sex. But as I said, right now you guys are reprobate and you're blinded by your envy. In other words, once you see the amazing glory of me and my wife with the trends, the movies, and the docs, and you guys what? And you guys see the amazing glory, you guys are going to be like, fuck, man, I can't believe we chose bullshit sex over this amazing glory. I would choose IMVJ's glory any day over this bullshit sex. But you guys were blind. You guys chose bullshit sex. That's how it to happen. You guys are reprobate. Yeah, there you go. The rapture of the church. In the Bible, it talks about the end times. Well, the reason why a lot of preachers who teach this call it the end times is because once Ivan and Vijay are king, it is the end, a monopoly, as Ivan and Vijay will be the main show every day forever, and everyone else will become the side attention. Companies and businesses will have to charge more money to compete with me and my wife. That's how bad it'll be. In other words, because it'll be a monopoly, all the Hollywood companies, all the companies around the world, to compete with me and my wife, they're going to have to charge more money for their movie tickets, for their products. They're going to have to charge more money because now it's a monopoly, as all the money is going towards what? SkySource. Yeah, there you go. But going back to the rapture of the church, in the Bible you have something called the catching away of the church. Jesus comes back from heaven and comes to earth and raptures his bride, and many are left behind. Well, the symbolism of that is Ivan O'Mara, when he saves his bride, which is my wife, obviously, Vijay will obviously, when he saves his bride, which is Vijay, obviously, both him and her will vanish into thin air, and the lucky chosen one, like the crew and actors, they will vanish with them, and they'll be saved and experience the glory with King Ivan and Queen Vijay. Just like in the Bible, the followers of Christ are raptured before the tribulation, and they have a feast in heaven, and Jesus gives them crowns, and they get to be in glory with Jesus. Well, the symbolism of that is obviously what? The actors and the crewmen are vanishing with me and my wife, and they're going to get to experience the wealth. I'm going to pay them a lot of money, the glory, the fame. Yeah, there's a symbolism. Whereas everyone else, the wicked, they're all left behind. Whereas the rest of the wicked are left behind and abandoned by God, which is symbolism of you. You guys are wicked people. There you go. In other words, when Ivan comes back from death and pieces out, you world will say, where is he? Where did Ivan go? Where's Vijay? Where are the actors? In other words, it will be as if Ivan and Vijay and the actors vanish into thin air, and then a few years later you see them in a darkened movie. In other words, when I come after death and I peace out, you guys are constantly gonna be on Twitter seeing if there's any pictures of me and Vijay. Oh, where's Ivan and Vijay? I want to see them. Hence why I don't want to hear that free money bullshit. It will be as if me and my wife vanished into thin air and we disappeared. Yeah, hence the idea of the rapture. The idea of what? The idea of the rapture. Hence the idea of the rapture and what? Hence the idea of the rapture and how Christ raptures his followers and his followers vanish into thin air with Christ. And the many of the wicked are left behind. Yeah, there's a symbolism. It will be as if me and my wife vanished into thin air. Revelations 5:10. And have made us kings and priests to our God, and we shall reign on the earth. This verse is a symbolism of the crew and actors. Everyone who works for Skyscrapers will be rich, from the actors all the way down to the 6th team, all the way down to the average crew. Hence, those Hollywood actors, once they finish Zenith, they will be the big dogs in Hollywood, as they'll all have successful careers, as well as the crewmen. So the crewmen who will be resigned will have successful careers with Skyscrapers, obviously. Whereas the ones who are in Hollywood are obviously going to have what? Successful careers in Hollywood. They're going to get paid a bit more money. Yeah, there you go. Right? The Bible even talks about ranks of crowns. Some get gold. So it talks about Christ's followers when they go to heaven. There's something called the judgment seat of Christ. Christ's followers get what? They get crowns. You have ranks of crowns, right? Some people get gold. Some get silver. Others get wood and bronze. It talks about Jesus preparing many mansions in heaven. Well, that's a symbolism of the crew and actors. Some people will be multimillionaires, like the actors and 6th team. CGI areas. So those actors and crewmen, once I pay them, they're gonna obviously buy a nice $1,000,000 house. They can afford to buy a multi-million-dollar house, obviously, with the money them paying them. At the same time, they know they're gonna have successful careers, obviously. So some people will be multi-millionaires, like this actors and 6th team and CGI and editors. Symbolism of gold, the gold crown, obviously in the Bible. Some will be upper class citizens making $400K, $350K, $300,000, like the head chefs, web designers, graphic designers, photographers. Symbolism of silver. And others will be lower upper class, making $150K and $200K, like the assistants and supervisors. Symbolism of bronze or wood. Right? Symbolism of bronze or wood. But my point is, all the people who work for Skyscrapers will be living a great life at all levels, as they'll all be rich in the eyes of the world. So even the crewmen who are making $150K, they're going to be living the rich life. For an average person, if you're making $112,000, $150,000, whatever it is, Canadian or American, depending on the rates, right? You can afford to buy a nice like $400,000 house. You're going to be living a good life, living a good life. Yeah, the Bible says, Christ says, "I prepare a mansion for you." All the people who work for my company will all be living a great life. Will be living a good life. From the actors to the 6th team, to the CGI and editor team, all the way down to the head chefs, the head design, the graphic designers, web designers, all the way down to supervisors and what? Assistants. They're all going to be living what? A good, wealthy life. Right? Right? There's a passage that says, God shall supply all my needs according to his riches and glory. Well, it's a symbolism of all the people who work for me, for Skyscrapers, for me and my wife. All of them will be supplied with great wealth, riches, and glory. Right? Right? Well, that is it for this long video. I hope you guys enjoy this biblical symbolism video. I thought this video would be an hour and 50 minutes, but you're only looking at an hour and a half. You're only looking at a good hour and a half video here. I hope you guys enjoyed this biblical symbolism video. I hope you guys learned something from what I said. Right? I thought it would be cool to talk about biblical symbolism in the Bible. I hope you guys learned something here, world. Stay tuned. To end off the year 2020, I'll be talking with the secretaries that I'll be hiring for SkySource. This is Ivan Omer. I'm fucking tired. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you learned something from this video, because this is a special biblical symbolism video. I hope you guys learned something from this. Stay tuned. In 2 weeks, I'm going to be ending off the year with a secretary's video for 2020. Ending off 2020 with a secretary's video. You're looking at a very, very interesting video for that. Secretaries who I want to hire. Right. Again, I only want 2 secretaries. Two women secretaries. I can hire the best secretaries who work for the Hollywood companies, whether television or the big Hollywood, the big 6. Stay tuned for that video. This is Ivan Omer. I'm officially signing out for this video. Peace.